Okay, so I'm gonna read y'all a book about perimeter, area, and volume. It's a monster book of dimensions. Let's see. Says, have you ever been to a 3D movie? 3D movies look real. If there's a monster walking on the screen, it might seem as if he is walking towards you. As the monster on the screen gets bigger and bigger, it seems as if he's coming closer and closer. Such movies are called 3D because they seem to have 3 dimensions. They seem to have length, width, and depth. So am I an example of a 3D object? Yeah. In the movie Monsters in the Neighborhood, the monsters are bothered by noisy neighbors who run across their yards and look in their windows. The monsters decide to put up their fences. Before they can buy the fences, they need to know how long each side must be. They need to know the total length of the fence around each yard. Length is just 1 dimension. Take a look at these 2 yards. One is bigger than the other. How much fencing would the monsters need for each yard? To find out, add up the lengths of all the sides. When you add up the sides of each yard, you're finding its perimeter, the distance around. The distance around a circle is its circumference. To find the circumference of a circle, you first measure its radius, the length of a straight line drawn from any point of the edge of the circle to its center. Then you double its radius and multiply that by pi, which is about 3.14. Inches, feet, miles, centimeters, meters, and kilometers each measure just 1 dimension. So what's something that would have a circumference or radius? Do y'all know? Like a clock? Yeah, anything that's a circle. Look at the posters outside the movie theater. Each has a drawing of a monster. Do the monsters in the posters look real? It's difficult to make a drawing look completely real because real things have 3 dimensions and a picture has 2 dimensions. Pictures have just length and width. Pictures and the surfaces of flat objects have 2 dimensions. How big is the movie screen? If the side of each square is 1 foot long by 1 foot wide, the area of the square is 1 square foot. Count the squares. You are finding the area of the screen. Look again at the screen. It's a rectangle. It has 4 straight sides. Its opposite sides are the same size, and all 4 angles are right angles. To find the area of a rectangle, you multiply its length by its width. The length of the movie screen is 12 feet, and its width is 16 feet. Its area is 12 times 16, which is 192 square feet. Area measures surface. It's a 2-dimensional measure. Square inches, square feet, square miles, square centimeters, square meters, and square kilometers each measure area. So this book has 3 dimensions. The very top of the page to the bottom is its length. The left side to the right side of the book is its width. And when you close the page and you look at all the pile of pages all bound together, you are looking at the 3rd dimension, its depth or thickness. At the movie, you can buy a large box of popcorn or a jumbo box. Which box is bigger? That's easy, the jumbo box is bigger. What makes one box bigger than the other? One box is bigger than the other because it's higher, wider, or thicker. When any one of the 3 dimensions increases, the size of the box increases. Of course, when both boxes are filled, the jumbo popcorn box has more popcorn in it than the large box. We call the amount a box holds, or the space anything with 3 dimensions takes up, is volume. The larger the box, the greater its volume. The jumbo box is 8 inches high, 6 inches wide, and 4 inches deep. To find its volume, multiply 8 by 6 by 4. The volume of the jumbo box is 192 cubic inches. The large box is 6 inches high, 4 inches wide, and 3 inches deep. To find its volume, multiply 6 by 4 by 3. The volume of the large box is 72 cubic inches. You can compare the volume of many boxes by measuring the 3 dimensions of each and then multiplying. A cube has 3 dimensions, height, width, and depth. So we measure volume in cubic measures. A cubic inch is a cube that is 1 inch high, 1 inch wide, and 1 inch deep. A cubic centimeter is a cube that is 1 centimeter high, 1 centimeter wide, and 1 centimeter deep. Cubic inches, cubic feet, cubic centimeters, and cubic meters each measure volume. So what's an example of something that contains volume?
A trash can?
Yeah. What about a swimming pool? Would it have volume?
Yeah.
the water, right? Tonight is the opening night of Monsters in the Neighborhood. The monster stars and their families have come to the premiere. It's time for pictures. The photographer tells the monsters and their families to line up. He wants short monsters in front and tall monsters in the back. In lining up the monsters, the photographer is only interested in one dimension. So what dimension do y'all think he's interested in?
One dimension.
Did you say height? Yeah. So he's only interested in the height of the monsters because he's lining them up. The short people in the front and the tall monsters in the back. It's starting to rain. The photographer puts away his camera. The monsters rush to get inside, but the door is not made for monsters. Some of them are too tall to get through. Some are too wide to get through. The door frame has two dimensions. It has height and it has width. Now it's time to go home, but it's still raining. There are lots of raincoats in lots of sizes. The biggest monster will need the biggest raincoat. The size of each monster is determined by how tall or short, how wide or narrow, and how fat or thin the monster is. So perimeter and circumference are the distances around one-dimensional shapes. Area is the space inside a two-dimensional object. Volume is the space a three-dimensional object contains, and monsters and everything you can hold, pick up, or walk around have three dimensions. Thank you guys.